Right, guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Obviously, myself, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So, talking about Grapple Fest 11, we've been talking about it for the last week or so. Grapple Fest 11 is going to be Saturday, the 26th of February. Going to be at the usual place, so Fleet Street in Liverpool. That's going to be Fusion Nightclub. Now, doors, I believe, open up about 3-ish, half 3. First fight's about 4 o'clock. Chris Thompson and the team at Grapple Fest are very punctual, so I expect the first fight to kick off at 4 p.m. Now, ticket availability, guys, there's none left. Absolutely none left. So if you were hoping to wait to the last minute or wait to payday to get a ticket or whatever, they're done. There might be some fighters out there might have a couple of tickets available, but I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. So Flow Grappling's the only place you're going to be able to see it. So make sure you get on Flow Grappling. Make sure if you are only wanting it for this event, choose the monthly option. The reason for that, you need to specifically select that option. Otherwise, Flow Grappling will charge you for the full year. So I think it's about £114 for the full year. I'm sure it's around about £12 a month or something like that. So make sure you choose the monthly option. Otherwise, 114 quid will come out the bank. Now, it's going to be Daisy Fresh versus Europe. Daisy Fresh coming over with a team of guys. These guys are ready to come. So they promise to bring an absolute fantastic team. And then obviously the UK guys, European guys, again, some fantastic guys are going to be on the card that night. So my next guest, we're going to be talking about that. So we've got Hardlife Jiu-Jitsu Academy's Dave Moore and Shay Smith. So Shay's going to be on the card that night. He's going to be up against one of Daisy Fresh's boys, Michael Pixley. So promises to be a fantastic one. Again, anybody, if you're on YouTube, have a look up for Shay. Shay's been on some fantastic matches. I think I watched a match, Shay, where I'm sure you had about 30 seconds left. And I think you went for I can't remember, was it some kind of choke? And you got the choke within the last. Somebody shouted there's 30 seconds left and you went for it and you managed to finish your opponent. So awesome to watch.
Yeah, I think I've had a similar situation before where I've been so far at one point and I could have just stalled it out and I knew I maybe could have got the finish, and I had other matches on after that, and I don't know, I just prefer a finish instead of just coast and just win. Just take the finish when you can.
Definitely. Listen, awesome to watch. Not just grappling, but Shay obviously does MMA as well. So obviously, I think you're amateur at the moment.
I'm looking to make my pro debut hopefully in around May on a Unity show. So
nice.
After Grapplefest.
Definitely. So with obviously Dave, so Dave, as well as doing Hardlife Jiu-Jitsu Academy, Dave is the owner of Hardlife Fightwear. So again, a fantastic apparel company within the UK. So Dave, tell us a little bit about Hardlife Fightwear.
Yeah, we've had the company for a long time now. We've been going for, I think it's nearly 9 years now. We started off, sort of making our own stuff for our guys in the gym, sponsoring a couple of local fighters. We started off, I think the first guy we sponsored was a guy called Tom Denham, fantastic wrestler. We got behind Tom in his push for his pro career. Everyone liked the stuff that we sort of did, with the concept that we came up with. And then it sort of grew from there, making stuff for the guys in the gym, then making stuff for other gyms. And then over the years, I met up with a guy, obviously now my partner and our designer, head honcho sort of thing, Rob Collier. I met up with Rob competing with him. I actually broke his heart and beat him in the final of the Scottish Open. And we became friends, and yeah, the rest is sort of history. We've worked hard, we haven't had massive amounts of money. We've put all our own hard work into it. We've had some fantastic people in the UK behind us, supporting us, with grassroots. We try and get behind the local fighters, and we've always tried to help people that, sort of couldn't afford to buy the kit and stuff. We tended to help, some of the local guys, and yeah, it just grew and grew. I think people realised we were in it for the right reasons, and now with the company's grown, the website's grown. We do a lot of custom stuff for a lot of big gyms now, including like AVT in Leeds, TFT in the northeast, Carlson Gracie, many gyms, all generally good friends of ours now, and We try and have a good working relationship. We supply good quality gear.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going really well. It's going really well. We've put
The
some work
fighters
in.
as well. Yeah, I was looking. Obviously, we've got the page up there. So, obviously, looking at some of the fighters that are on the Hardlife brand. So, obviously, Andrew Fisher, one of MMA UK News' favourite people. Obviously, Owen Livesey as well. The legend that is Ash Fletcher, obviously in there as well. So, so a lot of great fighters from different martial arts.
Yeah, well, we tend to generally a lot of them have a general grappling background, but we do support a lot of MMA fighters as well. But as you can see, like Ian Jones and well-rounded fighters have been around a long time. I mean, Ian Jones was a world champion catch wrestler, and didn't really have many sponsors, which I was really surprised because he's such a fantastic coach, fighter himself. So. It's nice to get behind these guys and give them a bit of support. And then, once we get behind them, then generally other people try and get behind them as well. We've had some great success and some great exposure from these guys. We try and help them, and it works both ways. They help us as well. So, it's good.
We did. We got to see at the last SGI, obviously the Four Nations. We got to see the rash guards that you put out. Obviously the Hardlife Team England rash guards, and they looked absolutely awesome. Great design.
Yeah. Again, Rob's on the money. Rob Collier, he's an amazing designer. Give him ideas, and he's out with this stuff. It was basically the rash guard came out of the idea that we did for Andrew Fisher's walkout kit on Bellator. And then it sort of grew from there. The England idea. We've also done the England MMA team kit a couple of years ago, which again, was similar to that. So it went down a storm really. So.
Nice. So, guys, make sure you check out Hardlife Fightwear. As I said, Hardlife Fightwear on Facebook. So just check out Hardlife Fightwear. The website as well, as I said, showing you a little bit there. So that's hardlifefightwear.co.uk. As I say, some fantastic stuff on there. And as I say, rep by some top athletes throughout the UK. So as I say, make sure you get yourselves on there. Some good stuff on there. Really, really good prices as well, Dave.
Yeah, well, that's it. We try and keep, we're fighters ourselves. I wear everything. I mean, my wife laughs at me. She says, "You just basically just wear hard like I wear it." We wear it as well. We test it. We train in it. We know it's good stuff. We don't like cheap crap. It's got to be good stuff. So if we're putting our name to it, and people are wearing it and repping it, then it's. But our suppliers, again, we've worked with the same suppliers for years, and I think we've got it nailed down to a T. The quality's superb, and the price is, it's affordable, so that we don't want to, just charge a lot of money, and people fighters struggle, so it's got to be affordable, it's got to last as well. So I think we do our best.
Yeah, definitely. And then Shay, what about yourself then? So obviously training, we know you've just finished the training in the gym at the moment, so just finished a session. So how's everything going for you in regards to your prep for this year anyway?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, coming off all the COVID things and not being able to get in and out the gym, and I had a few matches that was supposed to be going ahead, and then things cancelled, and I managed to get in a 4-man tournament of the Lakes. That was quite good. It was like a money tournament that we done. So that was during in and out of lockdown. So it was good. Yeah. So now the rules are very lifted, and we can travel and get back in and out of gyms, and we're not worried about numbers. It's good to just back working really and focus on what's ahead really.
We did try and stay a bit active over lockdown.
Yeah, we did. We just had a little unit. We had a little unit where we were just a handful of people that wanted to do it. We were just turned up and trained really. Just got on with it.
And what about now? Obviously the gym. January is always a good time in the gym because you always get an influx of new people coming in. Every gym in January is always mobbed, but then you've added in the fact that obviously we've had COVID and lockdowns and stuff like that. So the gyms were already getting busier and busier. So is that something you guys are finding as well at the moment?
Well, we're obviously we're in a transitional period at the moment. We're about to open a new academy. At the moment, we just, we're in a temporary place. I've had a really good friend of mine that's given us some premises, fantastic premises. It's huge. He's given us it at an affordable price, so we can sort of get ready for the new academy opening, which should be opening probably at the end of February. Get the keys, I think the 2nd or 3rd of February. We've got about a month's work to do, but it's going to be a massive expansion, huge gym. We're going to have a cafe, shop, all that type of all in one place. So it's something that I've been working towards for a long time. So to have basically the brand and then to be able to train and the team and everything all in one place. So yeah, it's exciting times really for us all. Yeah.
Definitely. And then what about so Grapple Fest 26th of February. So how did you find out then, Shay, you were going to be on the card?
So when obviously I've heard about Grapple Fest. It's one of the best shows in the UK. You know what I mean? I've seen all the bigger names over the time period competing on it, and it's like a dream for a lot of people to get on a good show like that. So I'd seen they put a post up on Instagram, like basically scouting people out to see who would go on. I literally just popped it up my page, and I just told all friends or family just tag me in it just to get my name in the mix.
Yeah.
And it seemed to work. You know what I mean? He messaged Dave about me, and obviously word of mouth through a few people. And then I was speaking to Chris myself, and he basically put it forward. There's a match here, Daisy Fresh lad. Are you up for it? And I'd be like, yeah. It'd be stupid not to. You can't pick a match. It's a tough match. It's what you want. You know what I mean? You can't pick and choose at an elite level like that.
Yeah. And then what about your opponent? Obviously, Michael Pixley. Tough guy, as I say, world no-gi champion, obviously a high-level wrestler and stuff like that in the States. When you go into a fight, because obviously you've got MMA background as well, so when you go into whether it be MMA or even a grappling event, do you even worry about your opponent, or are you more just focused on yourself?
Oh no, you've got to worry about everything. I think people who go in too overconfident, they just leave themselves very unopened. I'm never cocky or just confident in what you can do and just assert your own game plan. Don't worry about theirs. Assert your own and just give it your best. But like I say, he's an outstanding opponent. You know what I mean? I've looked up what he does, and the Daisy Fresh squad. There's not a hole throughout all of them. They're all amazing. You know what I mean? Respect where it's due. But when I have seen these matches, I think people are a little bit worried of the Daisy Fresh name, and I think they give him far too much respect. They're touching hands, and they're just very hesitant, waiting on him to give it his all. Obviously, he is good, but I think he just needs someone to put it on him a little bit more.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of the Daisy Fresh guys are coming over with this big reputation. And as you said, people, whenever they roll with them, because I've watched a few of them. I watched a few of them at the No-Gi Worlds just back in October. And it was the same. I mean, as soon as they heard they were up against Daisy Fresh, people were a little bit more hesitant, or it kind of maybe got in people's head and stuff like that. Whereas, as you said, you're just going to go out there and just put it on them. As obviously you give them respect, but you're not going to do what everybody else does and just sit back and wait on them doing their thing.
No, you've got to assert your own game plan, like as he will. He's going to come on, put it on, but you've got to give it just as good back.
But remember as well, Shay's coming off a couple of really big wins himself. He's just fantastic win on sub-15. He won that 4-man tournament. He's done well at the British Open and stuff like that. So, Shay's, don't underestimate Shay. He's a young guy with a lot of potential, and he's coming to fight. We're not make up numbers. So
That's one thing I watched Shay, and I was very, very impressed. As I said, regardless if it was 30 seconds to go in the fight or the first 30 seconds, man, you were going for it every single second of the fight. So there was no holding back. And as your pressure's brilliant. I mean, the pressure you were putting on some of the guys was absolutely fantastic. So as I say, I'm looking forward to this one because, as I said, everybody, a lot of people on paper think Michael Pixley is going to win it, right? But
so they would, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but obviously with you, I mean, as anybody that's kind of watched you and stuff like that, I mean, you're probably going to bring something different that this Michael Pixley has never seen before. As he's used to a certain matchup, a certain style of matchup, but I don't think he's used to people just putting the pressure on him. I think he's used to doing it to everybody else. So
right. It's quite a funny one as well, coming from my MMA background. When I first started off, I was always known as a stand-up fighter. I had KO1 fights, boxing fights, and my thing was head kicks. That's what I won a lot of my fights by, was head kicks. And my couple of losses come off like submissions. So since then, I've literally done nothing but knuckle down on my ground game, and I'd say my ground game surpasses my stand-up now by a long shot. So tables have turned now. The grappling's the more part I enjoy, and this is what I've stuck to.
Definitely. Well, listen, I'm definitely buzzing for your fight. I mean, as I said, obviously when we were talking to Dave, because Dave, you messaged me the other day, said, "Oh, we're going to get Shay on," and I was like, "Yeah, Shay's." Because what I do is I break the fight card down. I pick like maybe 10 people, and then I look at the next 10 and so on and so on. So so I was buzzing to speak to you. As I say, whenever I bring anybody's name up, always look at you always go on YouTube. Everybody's got videos on YouTube, so which is a good and a bad thing, because it's good because again you're getting your name out there. It's bad because obviously your opponents could go on and see, okay, what kind of grappler, what kind of MMA fighter or stuff like that is he? So so yeah, I said when I was able to go on, and I love your style. I love that style where, regardless if it's a points game or if it's submission only, I mean, you're always going for it. You're always going for it. And that one that we were talking about, I think it was the last 30 seconds. Somebody had shouted in from the sidelines. There's about 30 seconds left, and I'm sure I can't remember. I can't remember if it was a baseball choke or you did get some kind of choke. And it was just awesome. And that's brilliant because obviously at that point, you obviously listened to your corner. You heard the corner shouting, look, there's only 30 seconds left, so you need to do this. And you got the win. You got the win. No, I think, did you not put the guy to sleep? I'm sure you put the guy to sleep as well. So.
Oh, yeah. I do remember which one. Was it a black guy?
Yes, yes.
That was my first ever grappling comp, and I lent a gi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he took gold.
It was I took double gold, gold no gi and gold in the gi, and it was just as I joined Dave, I was just coming through from like an MMA gym, and I was coming to the open to learn the grappling, and a few lads said, "Oh, we all going to this grappling competition. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So I went, didn't even know how to tie a belt. Like, hey, this is a gi. And it was the case of I had a couple of gi wins, and they were all subs, and then same again for the no gi. But yeah, the lad, I remember there was 30 seconds left, and like I swept the lad with a guillotine. And
Yeah. I just
But
remember going to sleep.
We've always tried to keep that as part of Shay's game. Like, we don't want to stop that. You know, a lot of gyms try and knock that out here a little bit to play the points game and, you know, stall and this like that. We don't like that. We want to go for the submission. Shay's natural game is the finish, and I don't want to take that away from him. You know, that's what we're going to keep going with, and you know, that's what we're working for.
Definitely, man. I'd say there's not a lot of people. I'd say that's that pressure game and just putting it on. I'd say regardless if it's, as I was saying, 10 seconds into a fight or 10 seconds left. I mean, that a lot of people, as you know, Dave. I mean, you've been around for a number of years, especially at your point system, where they will get so many points and then they'll try and stall out the last. It happens a lot in the Masters division. Dave, you'll know this. I mean, we've only got 5 minutes.
To be fair, as a master, though, sometimes you have to play that game. If you've got multiple fights, especially in the gi, sometimes you can get tied up. Sometimes you have to play the points game. I've done it myself, you know. I'm under no illusions. You have to sometimes play the points game if you've got multiple matches. But ideally, you know, you should be always looking for the finish. That's you know, if you beat somebody, if you lose on points, you haven't really lost. But if you lose by submission, you've been beaten. So that's the way I saw it.
Definitely. So as I said, I'm definitely buzzing for it. So what's the plans then? So 2022, we've got, obviously you talk about Grapple Fest. We've got Grapple Fest coming up around the corner. Obviously you mentioned MMA, obviously potentially looking to go pro in around about May time. So what's your vision for this year, Shay?
On a competitive side?
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously main focus now is massively knuckling down for Grapple Fest.
Yeah.
And then going to assess after that, see what shows are within the range, see what I get offered. Hopefully it brings some more offers in, like you say, more interviews or other pops up on other shows. And hopefully again I'd get another chance to get on Grapplefest again. You know what I mean? I'd love that to keep on now, get my name always on it. But I am a competitive grappler. I couldn't not compete. It's just, this is what you train for, and that's your benefits, to win and show that you're putting the work in and that's actually working and paying off for you. I think towards the end of last year, I absolutely crammed competitions in. I had loads towards the end of last year, and I'm hoping as soon as Grapplefest, there's one done, could pick up a couple of MMA fights, and then again cram all the local grappling shows in that I can. But I have, as I've matured in my grappling game, I have found that I do prefer the sub-only matches. It just better suits me.
No gi sub only Shay's game, but he's well-rounded. He's not afraid of putting the gi on and knuckling down and putting some hard rounds in. He'll go to a company, he'll compete gi and no gi. He'll do the absolutes. He does, you know. I think if you're going to be, if you're a young guy and you want to get out there, week in week, Empire, BJJ 24/7, all these type of shows, you've got to be out there you've got to be hitting the competitions and seeing what other people are coming with, because it's the only way to keep active. It's the only way to keep up with what's going on.
With the training side as well, you mentioned Owen Livesey. We're actually going down to train with Owen Livesey on Monday coming. So with them, you can't get a better man to train with, can you?
What are you going to do, Shay? You going to pull guard, or are you going to stand up?
Not on Owen.
Yeah, man, Owen's awesome. I mean, Owen, I've got to see him in the last couple of SGIs. Obviously, came up to Scotland, and obviously the first time he came up, I mean, the very first thing he did was that fireman throw, where he just that was the very first thing. I mean, he just touched his opponent, dropped down, fireman threw him, and that was the first thing. Everybody, the whole crowd was just like, oh, and then it just went on and on from there. He was throwing people about, and then he fought my teammate, Big Mark McQueen, and he nearly threw Big Mark. Yeah, Big Mark's 120 kilos at the time, and he nearly threw Big Mark into the crowd a couple of times. So it was crazy, man, absolutely crazy. And then he fought the last SGI, and he came up against Jack Brown. So Jack Brown, as everybody knows, a kind of leg locker. So he's a ground game, loves bottom game. And Owen was in his garden. I think, Dave, you posted the flying without wings video.
It was actually I'm not.
Was it Rob? So it was. He was in Jack's guard. He got to a point where you see it in Owen's face. I want to throw somebody, and he just stood up, man. He just picked him up and threw him down, and the crowd were. Do you know what I mean? The crowd absolutely loved it. So
it was like on when he fought on Polaris. I mean, for me, he stole the show. It was tremendous. He just. Again, you've got a lot of leg lock battles. It's, they're great for the leg lockers, but sometimes they get a bit boring to watch. And Owen's like, "Come on, stand up, let's go." And it was great to watch. It's exciting, See something a bit different now and again. But
you did see that, yeah. I mean, you saw that at Polaris where he was there. There came a point where all he wanted to do was stand up, and he was like, "Come on, stand up!" And the one time his opponent stood up, Owen threw him off the mat.
To be fair to his opponent, though, he did stand up, though. You've got to respect him for that. He stood up and he had a go, and that's what you want to see. The fans want to see. It was tremendous, you know what I mean? So hopefully there's some more exciting fights lined up for Owen and maybe Shay as well. We'd love to see Shay. You see where we're trying to head for with Shay as well. Polaris, Grapple Fest. These are the shows you want to be on.
Like I said, I'm only young as well. I'm 22 now, so. It's just I've only just recently knuckled down on my grappling, say the last 3 years. Yeah. So that's what it's been.
One thing I was looking at your age as well. I mean, you've had what was I looking at? 12 MMA amateur MMA fights.
I've had 12 MMA fights, around 4 K1 fights, around 5 or 6 boxing fights, and then endless amounts of grappling competitions. And it was literally crammed in from the age of 15 to 19, and then grappling since.
Yeah. So for somebody so young to have that much experience, I mean, you've got guys that are double your age that don't have as much experience.
Yeah. The thing was, when I was younger, it was just basically, I couldn't say no. It was, I've got this fight 2 days notice, the lad's 10 kilos heavier. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Same as Chris now. I've got Michael Pixley, American dream boy, basically. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. And that's the mindset you've got to keep. And whether you put in a hell of a performance or you smash the guy, you get remembered and you're on the shows.
Yeah, so, definitely. And then, Dave, what about you then? 2022, what are we going to see from you? Are you going to be back competing again?
I'm competing in a couple of weeks' time down on the down at ASW,
the Interclub,
sub-only match on that. I've just I lost against Chris Reese in the British Nogi final. Quite a good fight. Lost on points. That was great. I fought Chris twice this year. Had some good matches with Chris. Yeah. I'm looking. I'm always active. I mean, I'm 51 this year, so I'm running out of opponents because there's not many black belts out there that are stepping up. You know what I mean? We like to see. We end up with the same sort of crowd. Every time. Yeah. It'd be nice this year. What I would like to see some more. More black belts at my age stepping up and having a go. But yeah, I'll be. Guys like this keep me young. I just keep trying to keep up with them. It's not getting easy. It's getting worse. But yeah, I'm still there. Doing my
bit. And then, final thing for you guys then. So obviously, Dave, you've been in the game for a number of years. Obviously, yourself, Shay, as well. I mean, you're talking about from 15-year-old. So you've been in the game for a good few years as well. So anybody that you guys want to shout out to, so any kind of friends, family members, teammates, sponsors. Well, your main sponsor is going to be the one right behind you, Hardlife Fightwear. so yeah, anybody you guys want to shout out to?
Obviously, I'd like to shout out, my coach, Sean Matthews, has been a big help to me over the years. Got many friends in the jiu-jitsu game that come and help me a lot. We've had some guys up this weekend, Roberto Barbero, Adam Russell, all the guys down at AVT, Carlson Gracie crew. A lot of the guys in the Northeast, we've got some amazing talent in the Northeast. You've only got to look at the likes of Northeast Jiu-Jitsu, Ellis and those guys, Lee Kirtley. There's some, Chris Short up at Alliance. They're all good friends of mine. And we tend to, we try and get around all the gyms. I think modern jiu-jitsu now, if you're staying in one place on your own, you're not gonna get much better. You've got to go out there and mix and train with these. And the gyms are opening up. There's a lot of great atmosphere and friendly teams. All these big open mats, and you see them, north, west, north. They're huge, and everyone's just buzzing, helping each other, and we fight each other, but there's no animosity. It's just it's a great sport jiu-jitsu for bringing everybody together. But everybody in the Northeast that's helped us, and everybody in the UK that supported the brand, I'd like to thank everybody. Yeah,
definitely.
Also, Jacob, who's come with us now from Roger Gracie's, he's Roger Gracie brown belt, and he's come up with us now. He's working with Mooch, but he's also trained with us. He's helping the classes out alongside Mooch, and they both work very good together because they're both very different games. Jacob's a big guy, he's 100 kilo brown belt, but black belt all day. He's unbelievable, breaks things down perfect. So he's added to us massively as well. Now
he's been a great addition to the team. He's brought some fantastic technique. We've actually been training with Roger Gracie and Mauricio this year. And friends of them. So we're trying to bring different elements of different people's games. We've had like Lloyd Cooper up doing leg lock stuff, and we try and bring the specialists, to help us all. So like I say, we thank everybody that's helped us really.
Definitely. Listen, you guys are awesome. I mean, I'd say it's an awesome North England, especially North England at the moment. Dave is probably the mecca of UK grappling at this very moment in time. I mean, I'd say some of the best grapplers are from the North of England.
Over the years, we did have a few years where we were sort of like, I don't think it was intentional, but we were sort of left out in the wilderness a little bit, really. But I think just everyone's just going down, smashing the comps regular. Look at the likes of Ellis Younger winning world titles. And, people, we're out there. We're winning team trophies and stepping it up. You know what I mean? So it's huge for the Northeast, and same in Scotland again. Scotland don't get as much recognition. There's some great grapplers in Scotland as well. Going up there, also tough battles up there. So.
There is. I mean, I think like Scotland, and especially North of England, again, we didn't get, as you mentioned there, we didn't really get a lot of recognition at points because it always, like, some of your best grapplers always came from the south, like London and places like that, because that's where things like Roger Gracie, obviously having the headquarters down in London, and you had Fight Zone, and a lot of the bigger, the top names in Brazil were all going down to London. Whereas now, I'd say the jiu-jitsu, as you say, with it being open, because you look at it, 10 years ago, 8, 9, 10 years ago, there was a lot of people wouldn't go and cross train. You wouldn't go at another gym. You weren't allowed to go and train at another gym. The word Creonte, you probably know, Dave, Creonte was getting thrown about everywhere as soon as you went to another gym, whereas now everybody trains with everybody now.
I think generally if you've got a coach that is confident in his own capabilities and isn't worried, like my coach has always let me go everywhere I've ever wanted to be. And I think that as a coach, saying myself, I wouldn't, if my guys want to go somewhere else, say if Shay wanted to go to another gym and learn something from somebody else, that's great because he brings it back to us and then we work on it. So I can only see it as a positive thing, you know what I mean? People who are worried like that, it's generally the guys who, I don't know, they're not that great, and I won't say too much, but there's guys who they don't want to lose the students to better coaches. But if you're a confident coach, you shouldn't have to worry about that, I don't think.
Yeah. Listen, we all know people like that, Dave. We all know coaches like that are worried about losing their students. But as you said, you shouldn't really be. I mean, if you're teaching proper jiu-jitsu, then your students are never going to leave you. They're never going to leave you at all. So,
I mean, even if they do it, we don't own them, do we? This is like we don't push and stay. If somebody wants to go somewhere else and train, fine. Doesn't mean you have to fall out with them, or you can still be friends and you can still see each other. I mean, I've had a few people come and go and leave, but and sometimes come back. But the door's always open as far as I'm concerned. Especially at Hardlife, we don't do politics and stuff. We just want the best. We want guys to come and go, and we'll go and train at their gyms. And for me, that's what it's all about.
Definitely. So guys, listen, Grapple Fest 11 then. So Saturday, 26th of February, Daisy Fresh versus Europe. So that's going to be Fusion Nightclub, Fleet Street in Liverpool. As the tickets are all sold out, so get on Flow Grappling, choose the monthly option. It's going to be obviously my Hardlife Academy, Shay Smith. Shay's going to be up against Michael Pixley. Shay's awesome, man. Absolutely awesome. If you don't believe me, go and have a look on YouTube. I'd say there's a good few videos out there. So Shay's going to bring it to Michael. So it's definitely not going to be an easy night for Michael at all. So listen, Shay, Dave, absolute pleasure to speak to you guys. I know me and you, Dave, me and you are going to catch up again at some point. So we'll talk a little bit about your journey and stuff like that, because obviously you've been in the game for a good few years now. So I want to hear all about your stuff, Dave. All right.
I'm a dinosaur, yeah. It's been fantastic speaking to you, and thanks for the exposure to share. Yeah, it means a lot.
Very much, mate. Thank you.
Not a problem. But listen, thank you very much, guys. Yeah, and listen, I'll need to get down as well. Obviously, I'm going to do a travel. I'm going to eventually. I used to do it before. I used to travel. Obviously, got some good friends in Preston, Chorley, all over the UK, and I used to go train at different gyms and so on. So I'll need to get down to you guys at Hardlife.
Always be welcome to come and train with us, my friend. No problem.
Definitely. We'll sort something out. But listen, thank you again, guys. And yeah, I'll see you next month, Shay and Dave.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
All right. Take it easy then.
Take care, bro.